They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU. They can lie about the history to the children. They can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. We black folk gave y'all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. They couldn't even invent that, but they have to call a white man the king, because they couldn't make rock and roll. So they have to stamp the king on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight black woman.
Boy. So we got to talk about some pretty embarrassing news involving MSNBC, aka MSDNC, aka MSCCP. However, MSNBC is not going to be known as MSNBC anymore because NBC has decided that MSNBC is too embarrassing of a brand to continue to have its name associated with it, right? As the network is spinning off, right? So Comcast is spinning off the network into a separate company, right? And now, again, MSNBC is changing their name because NBC decided that they don't want to have their brand as a part of MSNBC, right? They don't want to be associated with whatever the hell is going on at MSNBC, right? So let's go ahead and react to this clip here, okay, of MSNBC reacting to news that they are now rebranding, that they have to drop the NBC from their name because they came up with a worse name that is currently getting roasted. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, we have breaking news as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network by the end of the year. We will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like it.
There it is.
Actually,
wow, MS Now. Somebody in the creative department should be fired for this, bruh. MS Now. Now I'm just going to start calling it BS Now, right? BS Now would have been a more accurate name for what you're getting on this channel, right? So MSNBC is no longer MSNBC anymore, right? They're now MS Now, right? So again, if you want your BS Now, tune in to what was formerly known as MSNBC.
The new logo.
It looks very sporty. As we go to Versant, we're going to be moving in this direction. MS Now, which I got to say, I got a call yesterday afternoon, and they're saying, "We hope you're okay. We're going." I was like, "What do you mean? Like this shows we're independent." And what I've said on this show time and time again is, you look at the people that are running the company; they're entrepreneurial.
Right.
Like when you have somebody come into your company after working for like big corporations, and you're talking, you're saying, and they go, "We want you to be entrepreneurial. We want you to come up with new ideas. We want you to push the boundaries." I'm excited about that, so I'm excited about this too. It's like, what's in the name? Well, whatever you put into the name.
Well, look, my understanding is this decision was a choice by NBC Universal. Right. Remember, originally they were going to leave the Peacock with the different units. Right. They decided that they wanted that to stay with NBC Universal. Having said that, despite my sentimentality about the Peacock, I've always loved the Peacock.
Yeah.
The truth is, I've always thought about this network and CNBC and USA and actually all of those assets as insurgent networks.
Right.
This is an insurgent network, and I love the idea, to be honest with you. You can take out your salt shaker or whatever you want to do and say, take it with a grain of salt. But I like this because I think it actually does have this sort of independence and actually gets away in some ways from even the idea of legacy media.
Yeah.
Right?
This is cope, right? This is a lot of cope because ultimately, again, what is happening here is that NBC said, no, we don't want you guys to be associated with our brand anymore, right? That's actually what's happening, right? MSNBC is being dropped. That's what's happening. Right? So that's why they have to change their name, is because the actual owners of the name are like, nah, we don't want your network to have our name anymore, right? But they're trying to frame this as, oh, well, now we're independent. We're independent, right? What is independent about MSNBC? There's nothing independent about this network, right? This network is an arm of the Democrat Party. It is a propaganda platform for Democrats. It is very anti-Trump. Okay, it's very anti-Republican. It is progressive. What's independent about it, right? I mean, there's nothing independent about it right now. Okay, so at this point, MSNBC or BS Now, right? BS Now. BS Now is going to have to sink or swim on their own, right? They're going to have to make money on their own, okay, without Comcast and others coming to their rescue when they're facing financial problems. So let's read here. The longtime liberal cable channel, MSNBC, is about to undergo the biggest change in its nearly 3-decade history. According to a new report from NBC, Comcast is spinning the network out into a separate company and rebranding it as MS Now, removing all connections to NBC and even ditching the famous peacock logo. Yeah, so basically what they're saying here is that you can't use our trademarks at all, okay? Our logo, our branding, like all of that, like you're done. We don't want to be associated with you at all. Again, this right here, in my opinion, is a rejection, right? This is a complete and total rejection. MSNBC is coping with their new brand, right? Their new brand is only happening because the old brand said, nah, we're good. The owners of that brand said, you guys are so toxic. We just want you to be your own thing, right? Just be your own thing, not associated with us, right? We don't want you associated with us. For a network that has been bleeding viewers for years, the move looks less like evolution and more like an act of desperation. MSNBC launched in 1996 as a joint venture between NBC and Microsoft, with the name itself being a combination of the two brands. Microsoft eventually left the partnership, but the NBC name and its prestige remained tied to the cable channel. That is now coming to an end. Later this year, MSNBC will relaunch as MS Now, short for My Source News Opinion World. Again, I'm not sure who came up with that, but whoever in the creative department that came up with that, again, should be fired, right? Not a good job. Not a good job at all. The iconic NBC peacock will be stripped from the logo, and the network will attempt to sell audiences on a refreshed identity through an aggressive marketing campaign. Executives insist that the on-air lineup will stay intact. Rachel Maddow, Lawrence O'Donnell, Joe Scarborough, Ari Mebler, and other marquee personalities are expected to continue leading the primetime and morning blocks, but the question remains, will changing the sign outside the building fix the channel's fundamental problems? Yeah, so the answer to that question is no, it's not going to, because they're keeping the same lineup of left-wing lunatics, okay? I mean, when you talk about Rachel Maddow, Lawrence O'Donnell, Joe Scarborough, Ari Mebler, I mean, again, these are all left-wing hacks, all Trump deranged hacks, okay? This is not an attempt to, I don't know, move to the center, okay, to try to appeal to normal, regular, everyday people. No, they're going to double and triple down on appealing to the freaks and the lunatics, right? That's what they're going to do, okay? That's what they're going to do. This move comes as part of a larger corporate restructuring. Comcast is spinning off MSNBC, CNBC, USA, Oxygen, Golf Channel, and several other legacy cable outlets into a new standalone company called Versant. Versant will be a separate publicly traded entity, giving these aging cable networks room to operate without dragging down NBC Universal's broader film, streaming, and theme park business. Comcast and NBC Universal keep their crown jewels, NBC News, Universal Pictures, and Peacock, while Versant inherits the struggling cable bundle that fewer Americans are paying for every year. Yeah, so again, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is a rejection, okay, a full-throated rejection of MSNBC, okay? This is NBC basically saying, listen, you guys are a drag. We don't want you to be associated with us at all, okay? You're going to be in your own separate little spin-off company. And again, you sink or swim on your own, right? Your brand needs to hold up on its own without the NBC branding carrying you, right? So again, that's what's happening here. Mark Lazarus, the incoming CEO of Versant, painted the change as an opportunity. Quote, the peacock is synonymous with NBC Universal. He said, this gives us the opportunity to chart our own path, create distinct brand identities, and establish an independent news organization following the spin. The PR spin is clear, but read between the lines. NBC is cutting MSNBC loose, formally acknowledging that the channel no longer represents the future of its news division. Yeah. This is 100% a rejection. At the peak, during the first Trump administration, MSNBC was a ratings juggernaut for left-leaning audiences hungry for resistance coverage, but those days are long gone. Over the past decade, the network has seen its pay TV reach collapse by more than 33%. Cord cutting has gutted the business model, while younger viewers increasingly bypass cable altogether in favor of digital-first platforms. Meanwhile, competition from Fox News on the right and CNN in the left space has squeezed MSNBC into a narrower ideological corner. While it remains the second most watched cable news outlet, it has a larger audience than CNN, which isn't saying much. Its total audience is a fraction of what it once was. Simply put, MSNBC's best days are behind it, and NBC clearly knows that. Yeah, I mean, that's what's happening, because this is the current landscape of business in the United States of America when you talk about legacy media, okay? People are moving away from it. Less people are watching cable news than ever before. More people are consuming their content online in other forms, and a lot of these liberal outlets have faced the consequences of that, right? When you look at Stephen Colbert having his show canceled, well, why is that? Well, it's because that platform is dying. They can't make money off this stuff anymore, right? They can't make money off of it. So now they have to go to a new direction. In the case of MSNBC, now BS Now is going to have to stand on their own, right? Without the subsidy, without the intellectual property, right? Without the support of NBC, right? They're going to have to stand on their own. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how far Rachel Maddow can carry this network, okay? I mean, they may have to start making her work 5 days a week again. So let's get into some of the reactions here. Clay Travis says, MSNBC is branding as MS Now. Good Lord, MSNBC's brand is so toxic that they won't even let them use the NBC brand anymore. This guy says MSNBC is giving itself a new name like a doomed couple that renews their wedding vows after the husband knocks up a stripper, except in this case, the stripper was knocked up by Hunter Biden and their network pretended it was all fake. Keith Olbermann says MSNBC to change name to MS Now. No, I'm not kidding. Megyn Kelly says MSNBC gets shivved by NBC, can't share our respected name as NBC pretends it had some impeccable reputation to protect. Brian York says no more MSNBC during this time of transition. NBC Universal decided that our brand requires a new separate entity. That's one way to put it. Yeah, I mean, it's a breakup. That's exactly what's going on here. It's a rejection. It's 100% a rejection. This person says, here's how we get more viewers. We don't change a thing. Same staff, same stories covered. Everything's exactly the same, but we changed the name from MSNBC to MS Now. Yeah, so again, I think that a more accurate name would be BS Now, right? Because that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting when you turn into that network, right? You're getting BS Now. BS on demand, right? That's what you're getting. So, again, this is hilarious, right? I mean, just get it absolutely roasted, destroyed over this rebranding. Let me know what you guys think about this, right? Do you guys think that this is a good name? Do you guys think that this rebranding is going to help MSNBC get more viewers, right? I don't think so. I think that their network is dying. I think that their days are numbered, okay? Because now, again, they have to sink or swim on their own, okay? They don't have the subsidy. They don't have the support. Okay, they don't have what they had before, right? Now, again, they got to perform or go broke, right? They got to perform or go broke. We're gonna see if Trump derangement can keep paying the bills for these guys. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.